You're listening to the Visibly Fit podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and every week I'll give you holistic, practical solutions for everyday issues related to nutrition, healing, functional fitness, and behavior modifications. As a naturopath, fitness expert, and wellness coach for over 20 years, my goal is to empower you to reach for greater health and to rise up to your next level of living in mind, body, and spirit. You were created with greatness in mind. It's time to own it. Are you with me? Then let's dive in. Well, it's that time of year again, that time of year where you may be a little worried about how you're going to avoid the dreaded holiday weight gain again this year. That's right, because Christmas is around the corner, but Thanksgiving is right here. And so we have the holidays here that the average person gains 5 to 10 pounds during these holidays. Yeah, 5 to 10 pounds. Now, they don't normally keep them all. That's the good news. In fact, most people do lose that weight that they gained during the holidays and over the New Year resolution time. But the problem is they don't lose all of it. Nope, that's right. They end up hanging on to a little extra, whether it's a half a pound, quarter of a pound, whatever. But over the years, that adds up, that stacks up. And so the pounds stack up, right? So just a half an inch one year, or half a pound. I said half an inch. Well, it ends up being inches, doesn't it? But half a pound here, a pound there, it adds up. And pretty soon you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I have gained 10 pounds extra. And so that is something to really look at as we're going into this holiday season. Now, the average person also on Thanksgiving Day consumes 4,500 to 5,000 calories and over 300 grams of fat. Oh my goodness. That is over 2 days worth of caloric intake wrapped into one. And not just even into one day, it's wrapped into one meal. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's why people fall asleep on the couch. It's not just the tryptophan if you're a turkey eater. It's all the excess that people are putting in their bodies. When they go to watch the Cowboys or Detroit Lions play. Do y'all do that? We do that as a family. It's tradition because the Cowboys always play and so does Detroit, not against each other, but they are always playing. So we usually turn the Cowboys game on. So what do you do? What do you do on Thanksgiving after the meal? But here's the deal. I do want you to start thinking of the holidays as just a day instead of, a couple of months, because most people are indulging because it's the holidays and you're meeting with friends and you've got, stuff going on at work and you just, I feel like my husband always gets on to me whenever I say I feel like. He's like, oh, really? You feel like? But yes, I feel like most people give themselves permission. It's like full on green light to just splurge, almost as if I know some pregnant women that splurge because they're eating for two. That's kind of their thing. But just because it's the holidays, it doesn't mean that you should indulge all month long. No, Thanksgiving is one day. That's it. Christmas is one day, 2 at best if you are including Christmas Eve. And then you have New Year's Day. And so that's really 4 days. So ask yourself, am I really just celebrating the holiday or am I celebrating months? Because that might be one of the reasons you're gaining weight during this time. So we really want to make sure that you reserve those indulgences, if you choose to do so, on just the one day. And the rest of the days, have a really good eating plan so that you won't, gain weight over this time, and you won't feel lethargic, and you won't set yourself up for any opportunities for dis-ease in the body, right? Because when you're not eating properly and you're not exercising well, your body has more inflammation, and it is ripe and prime and ready to go for any kind of colds or bugs or dis-ease in the body, right? And you're probably not getting a lot of rest during this time. So these are all things that are very important. But we're talking right now, of course, about food. So a good rule of thumb, if you are headed to a party or if you are doing your family celebration, um, never, it's kind of like going to the grocery store. Never go to the grocery store hungry. Same is true for a party or a family gathering. Never go hungry. No, do not go hungry, because then you will overindulge. Basically, just eat a healthy meal before you go. It doesn't have to be a huge meal, because, that would be like a real drag. You get there and you're like, oh, I'm not hungry. And there's food there and people think it's rude that you're not eating. I mean, I get all that. So you want to just have something in your stomach that you feel satisfied with, so that when you go to the party or the gathering, you don't go straight for the kitchen or the table that's loaded with all the festive foods. You can, walk around, mingle, talk. It's not, you're not focused on the food. You're not hangry. Nobody likes a hangry guest. So don't go hangry. But definitely have something healthy that you've already eaten. Now, another good idea is to always take something, like volunteer to bring the healthy option to the gathering. Now, most people say, oh, no, you don't need to bring anything. I've got it. I've got it all. Just say, you know what? I would really like to bring something. Do you mind if I bring a salad? Most people are going to say, yeah, sure. That'd be awesome. And so that way, you have something to eat. So be bold and just volunteer. That way, when you show up, cool, I'm going to be able to put something on this plate, because you just never know what your friends or family is, what they're going to serve. And so at least that's on the safe side, and you're not going to feel like you're not part of the festivities, right? Also, you won't be compelled to waste it. So if there's leftovers and people didn't eat that salad, you can just bring it on home, and guess what? You've got leftovers for the next day. So that's super cool. And if you decide to host a party, which is a lot of fun, I actually suggest in investing in some of those disposable um, you know, food containers that people can take leftovers home to go in, because I mean, especially like Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. And Thanksgiving is one of those meals that I think even more so than Christmas, at least for my family. I don't know about yours, but there are traditional meals or recipes, right? Like if they're not on the table, people are saying, well, where's that? Like something's wrong if that cranberry salad is not on the table, or if what does my mom make? She does the broccoli rice casserole. I don't know. She does all kinds of stuff. She cooks for days. Anyway, but it's always the same thing. And so if something's missing, someone's going to ask about it, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to partake in all the traditional foods, right, that are loaded with remember I mentioned 300 grams of fat that people consume in that day, all the fat, sugar, salt, all the things that will be detrimental for your body. You don't have to eat those things just because it's a traditional meal. Now, if there is one main dish that you just really, really like, then it's okay to have some of it, right? Not overindulge in that either, but um, you just have to know what your goal is, right? Like if you're already giving yourself permission to go all out on Thanksgiving and overindulge, then that's your choice, right? And I would say that cheats are choices, right? So, quote unquote cheat. If you are on a really good path of eating well, eating clean, and you choose on Thanksgiving or Christmas to overindulge, then that's your choice. But if you want to stay on track and not gain any weight and not cause havoc on your body, then I want you to know that it's doable. You really can do it. I've done it year after year, and you really can do it. And you can still enjoy the holiday, and you can still enjoy the people around you, because really it's about the people. It's not about the food. No matter what you might think, it really is about the people. Sometimes we make it about the food, and there's a lot of emotion usually around the food, especially around the holidays. But you can choose just to, again, bring your own item. But if you are hosting that party or uh, excuse me, gathering, I have to get a sip of water. 1 second, please. Mhm. There you go. That's live podcasting for you. Um, if you are hosting that party, then bring some new items to the table, right? Maybe you have the traditional things that are expected because you want your family and your friends to come back to your gatherings. So you want to have something for them, right? Maybe they're not all eating like you, but bring in some new dishes that are healthy and nutritious that they can they can try. You never know. They might really like it. And guess what? Maybe that would start to become a new tradition, a new traditional meal that is served each year. So you never know what seeds are being planted when you get a little creative and you get a little bold with how you show up on these holidays. I remember I made for dessert one year. They were beautiful. They were these apple. Gosh, what all was in the center? Anyway, I had slices of apples and I baked them, but I had them sliced and they were really thinly sliced and kind of crisscrossed over one another and inside um, like a muffin pan, and I had those baked. So they ended up looking like a, oh, what am I trying to say? They were beautiful. They were like a flower. They were like a rose. That's what it looked like a rose. And then I had like a little stuffing kind of stuff, that a healthy stuffing that I put inside of it. And they, oh my goodness, people loved them, absolutely loved them. So that was a fun new item that I brought to the table, and they looked beautiful. And of course, they were healthy. So think of some new ways in which you can bring health to the holidays. So even if it's doing something fun like vegetable or fruit, um, creative kind of things, like you can do vegetable trees, like make it like a Christmas tree, or I've seen like for Thanksgiving, like a vegetable tray made like it looks like a turkey. The way that they have it all set up, it's very creative, and people like that, and they like to eat. When food looks fun, people will eat it. Okay, so if it looks fun, and of course it tastes good, you got to make it taste good, and you can do that and it still is healthy, then they will enjoy it. And I think that it will be a you'll be a it'll be a party pleasing opportunity there. So that's that. Now, something else that a lot of times people don't realize is, but before not only going to a party that you want to eat something, you also want to make sure you're drinking enough water. Um, you know, I've mentioned before that 65 to 70% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. And so a lot of people are mixing that signal, and they're not really hungry, they're just thirsty. So make sure you're drinking water. Drink a glass of water before you even eat. Okay. And let's just see if maybe you're satisfied for a little while just with the water. And then, and also while you're on the go these holidays with the grocery shopping and running around and doing errands and just here and there and everywhere. And I don't know what your life is like, but always have a water bottle with you. Always have a BPA free water bottle, and make sure that it is filled with water, like plain Jane water, and drink it often. Okay. That's so important. It will be uh, your BFF, water, a water bottle. Okay. Now, as you go to these holiday gatherings, or maybe it's at your company where you work, if you will eat in a certain order, it will also set you up for success. It'll keep you from wanting to overindulge because you will be satisfied and you won't feel as hungry. So if you will start, guess what I'm going to say? With the veggie tray. I'm sure you guessed that. Start with the veggie tray and get as much as you can, right? Like eat the broccoli, eat the carrots, eat the sugar snap peas, eat the vegetables and feel really satisfied and get those vitamins and nutrients in your body. And then if you're still hungry, then maybe go to the protein source. So someone like myself who doesn't eat meat would go to like make sure I would, if they have hummus because that's made from chickpeas. So that's going to be a protein. If there's any kind of bean salad, I would probably go for that. Of course, broccoli is a vegetable, but it's high in protein. So I would make sure I have a little more broccoli. I just would probably have a mirror handy so I don't have broccoli in my teeth as I'm visiting with the guest. But it's just really important to, again, eat in that order. Now, if you are a meat eater, then go for that protein, right? Go for nuts and seeds that might be in little small dishes on the table as well. So that's a good thing to fill up on. And if you are still hungry at that point, then you can shift over and have a little small portion of carbs. Now, you were already eating vegetables, which are complex carbs. So I'm talking a little more simple carbs. So maybe there's a potato something, or, I don't know what they may have, but maybe it's just a little something that you want to enjoy. And then if you're still hungry, and again, evaluate, are you hungry or are you just social eating? And if you are a social eater, then step away from the table, step out of the kitchen, because you will not be aware consciously of because you're probably unconsciously just eating and nibbling and talking and just having a good social time, and you won't really notice how much you've actually consumed. So get yourself a small plate and put what you want on that plate, and then step away from the table, step out of the kitchen and do your visiting elsewhere. But if you still decide after the vegetable tray and your protein, whether it's plant-based or if you do meat, or and then simple carb of some sort, and then if you decide I still want something and it's a dessert situation, then go for more of the fruit kind of a dessert if they have that. If not, then maybe I don't know, maybe it's just a little small square of something, a bar, or you have to know yourself well, right? Because moderation kills momentum. So if this little nibble is going to send you down the just a spiral of consuming these kind of items from here on out, don't do it. Just don't. It's not worth it. But if you know yourself well and you can put healthy boundaries around the situation, and it's a one and done, and again, it's just a holiday, not holidays, then it's okay. Have a little bitty small little slice of pie or whatever it is. But that's only if you really think you have to have it, not because it's a dessert and it's holidays and you're socially eating and you want to feel festive. No, think about the repercussions of what it does to your body, right? Like, is it really worth it in the end? So ask yourself those questions before. It's almost like a stop, drop, and roll situation. Or maybe it should be like a stop, drop, and pray. Um, you have to really be aware, be conscious before you choose and before you make those decisions. So also, I would say have some accountability. I mean, this is a time where you need maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a sibling, a parent, a friend, to be like, hey, you might need to say, hey, you need to keep me accountable because I have this goal this year and I know myself from the years past and I haven't been the most successful. So will you do me a favor? Will you love me enough to hold me accountable in this particular area? So that may be food, that might be drinking, that might be whatever, shopping, overspending, I don't know, whatever area, but we're talking food here. So have that accountability in place, because when we're accountable to someone, then we tend to have a little more success. Because I think sometimes we think, oh, I can do this, I got it, and then you get to the festivities and you don't got it. You think you do, but it's really about having that plan before you even go, having that accountability in place before you even arrive, and already making the decision before you get there. That way you avoid temptation. You know, I would even say set a goal with yourself, right? Have that particular plan ahead and plan in place, and healthy boundaries with yourself. And when you notice I'm saying when you accomplish that goal, reward yourself. That's right. No, not with the food, but reward yourself with something really awesome that you love. Like maybe it's the next day you take a walk around your favorite park, or you take a bubble bath, or you go get a pedicure or manicure, or you spend a little more time reading a good book, or whatever your thing is that could be a really healthy reward. Maybe it's spending time with a good friend, or your spouse doing something that you two like to do, whatever it is. Figure out what that reward is and reward yourself for being disciplined and committed to your health. Okay. Seriously, because that's like a big deal on the holidays, and you deserve to be rewarded because you honored yourself. And not only did you honor yourself, you honored God. Okay. I'm just going to like put that out there, because when we are showing up in our best self, right? Like when we're taking good care of our bodies, and we're choosing healthy over something that would be detrimental to our bodies, and you know, quote unquote, technically be poison to our bodies, then that's honoring our creator. Okay. So I want you to start maybe looking at your choices and seeing your life in more of how do I do this as more of an act of worship, right? Whether it's eating as an act of worship, moving my body as an act of worship, having good, healthy, pure, good thoughts as an act of worship. How am I speaking about myself, and how am I speaking to others as an act of worship? Getting to bed and having good rest as an act of worship, because that's when your body heals, when it has plenty of time at night to restore and repair itself. And so anyway, I just want to throw that out there, because I think that's important to view that a little bit differently, because then you do make different choices. Now, as we have these holidays coming up, um, you know, it can be an interesting time. And one of the things that I would say is expect nothing, but anticipate everything. That's right. Expect nothing, but anticipate everything. And what I mean by that, I think there's a lot of expectations around these holidays. We put expectations on ourselves. We put expectations on others. We put expectations on how the event, the party, the gathering, the day is supposed to go. And it really kind of can set you up for disappointment, right? If it doesn't go according to those expectations. And so, again, you might be putting certain expectations on yourself, and that can really cause a just an emotional downward spiral. And we want to stay uplifted during this time. This is a special time of year, and it's also the darkest time of the year, like literally regarding sunlight. And so there's we're not seeing a lot of sunlight, and we're not out and outdoors as much as we normally are, and all those things. And so there's this really good time of year, and yet it's really dark. And I mean literally, but it's also dark spiritually. There can be, right? So there's that really good and light, wonderful spiritual goodness of this year, and then there's some ick that can come around it. So I just want you to notice that, and to really pray through that, because it is real. It is real this time of year, especially when people are going through the holidays, and maybe they've lost a loved one, or they've gone through a divorce, or um, they, I don't know, uh, they have strained relationships with maybe their parents or their children or a friend or whatever it is. Sometimes it can just bring up a lot of that ick around this time, and maybe sometimes, and maybe you are one of those that you're spending the holiday alone. Let me tell you, I've been there, and it's not fun, and so I feel for you, but I want you to know that that, man, this too shall pass, and that you're not forgotten. I'll tell you that right now. You are not forgotten, and you are loved tremendously. And if you are somebody that has a big, wonderful gathering around this time of year, that's fantastic. Just don't forget about those that might be alone. Send a little love note to them, so to speak. Send a little video uh, voicemail, or invite them over. Maybe not to your family gathering, maybe that would be awkward, but maybe even invite them over for the following day to hang out, or just to let them know that you're thinking of them, and that they are included, and they don't have to be alone during this time of year, because it can be a dark time for a lot of people, even though it's such a light and wonderful time too, because of what the holidays mean. And Thanksgiving is such an opportunity to be grateful, to really express our gratitude, and we should do that every day, of course. But expressing our gratitudes, and being around family and friends, and just having that connection, especially after last year, you guys. Oh my goodness, we we thrive on connecting with people in person. So that's important. So if you know of anybody that is home alone, whatever, connect with them. I don't care if it's just meeting them for a walk, or just spending, half an hour with them on the phone, or 15 minutes. Just, yeah, do that. It's important. And then Christmas, of course, is such a glorious time of the year, but it can also be a tough time of the year. Again, I have been uh, on Christmas by myself, and that's not fun. But there's so much when we put our focus onto what it's really all about, then it changes their perspective. So if you are one of those ones that may be alone this year, just put on some awesome, you know, Christmas, like traditional Christmas music, and focus on what the season is really about, and enjoy um, your time with your creator, honestly. And it can be a special time as well. It doesn't have to be a lonely time, because a lot of times I think people just feel that oppressiveness of that loneliness, but it doesn't have to be that way. um, Even though it's not fun being alone, it doesn't have to be a sad kind of alone time. Okay. But I do hope that you will also reach out to others. Just because you're alone, don't always expect people to reach out to you. It is a two-way deal. And but I want to encourage both sides of that. But this is just such um, a good time to connect with others, right? And to have serious, deep gratitude for all the blessings that we have. And I don't mean just material things. Material things they're fine, whatever. They're fleeting. I'm talking about the riches that you really have, and that's the richness of your health, your family, your friends, your job, just all the things. But then also, yeah, a roof over your head, clean water to drink, all the things that might be taken for granted from time to time. So just staying in gratitude changes just the way you show up, just your attitude. And so I'm grateful for you. Yes, I am. And I can't believe that I know people will listen to this other times of the year, but I can't believe that Thanksgiving is next week already. I don't even know what we're doing yet. Is that crazy? Like, I think I'm hosting. I mean, I offered, but I haven't heard the final. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I better figure that out pretty quick. So anyway, I'm so grateful for you. I'm thankful that you tune in to this Visibly Fit podcast. I hope this blesses you. I hope you're encouraged. I hope you got a few tips and tricks on how to maneuver through the holidays, not holla months, with ease, so that you don't gain a pound or even a half a pound this time of year, that you can choose wisely and you can choose healthy and well each and every time. And if you do choose to, go a different route and have, um, that cheat is a choice, that's okay, right? Like, just that one and done, and don't let the shame or blame or whatever set in because you made that choice. So just having that plan ahead of time is really going to set you up. But yeah, I hope you were encouraged, and I hope you got a couple tips out of this podcast. Please share this with others that will be blessed by it. And I appreciate you investing in your health by listening to this program. And speaking of investing in your health, and also sharing this with other people, that would be great. We have an incredible guest next week, so you do not want to miss it. He's an awesome doctor, and he is just wow. He has so much information. Like, you will just your mouth will just be like, your jaw will be dropped open, because he's just that awesome with all the information he'll give you. But his heart is pretty spectacular as well. So I'm excited for you to get to know him a little bit better. I'm not going to tell you who it is, because that's right, this is a little promo, so you'll come back next week. But make sure you tune in. And as always, I love spending this time with you. If you are interested in getting through these holidays without gaining a pound as well, and you would like some accountability, I would love to be your accountability partner. I have tons of women, hundreds and hundreds, thousands actually, that I have worked with over the years, that I have been their accountability partner, and they've had great success. So if you are interested in investing in your health in that way, you do deserve it, and I would love to work with you. If you go to getvisiblyfit.com, you can either listen to that webinar there, and then also go ahead and actually on that page, there's probably just a place that you can go ahead and sign up on my calendar, and we can schedule time to talk, or you can purchase right there if you're ready to go. So let's do this. I'd love to keep you accountable and get you through these holidays healthy and well. All right, we'll catch you next week on Visibly Fit. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until then, make it a great day.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show, so thank you so much for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. To learn more and get more free resources, just head on over to wendiepett.com, and thank you in advance for sharing this episode and this podcast, following and subscribing not only to this podcast, but finding me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I'm probably there too. Until next week and our next podcast time together, make it a visibly fit day.